Have you ever wondered where the silver in your life actually comes from? The jewelry you wear, the electronics you use every day, even the solar panels powering our future? They all depend on a steady supply of this precious metal. For years, the global silver market has relied heavily on one major player, China. But something big is happening, something that's flying under the radar of most news outlets, and it could completely reshape the silver landscape as we know it. China just cut its silver exports, and the United States is now looking to an unexpected ally to fill the gap. Let's break down what's going on. For a long time, China was not just a massive consumer of silver, but also a significant exporter. They were a key part of the global supply chain, feeding the world's insatiable appetite for the metal. But recently, things have started to change. China's own domestic demand is exploding. Think about it. They're leading the world in solar panel production, pushing for a massive expansion in electric vehicles, and their electronics industry is booming. All of these sectors are incredibly silver intensive. A single solar panel needs about 20 grams of silver. An electric vehicle uses almost double the silver of a traditional car. When you multiply that by the sheer scale of China's ambitions, you start to see the problem. They need more silver for themselves, which means less is available to export to the rest of the world. This isn't just a small shift, it's a fundamental change in the flow of a critical resource. We've seen a noticeable drop in the amount of silver leaving Chinese ports. Data from customs and trade organizations shows a clear downward trend. In the past, the US and other nations could count on that supply. Now they can't. This creates a huge vulnerability. When a major supplier suddenly pulls back, it sends ripples through the entire market. It forces everyone to ask a very important question. Where are we going to get our silver now? This is where the story gets really interesting. As the US and other countries started scrambling for new sources, one country quietly stepped up to the plate: South Korea. Now, you might be thinking, South Korea? I thought they weren't a major silver mining country. And you'd be right. South Korea doesn't have massive silver mines like Mexico or Peru. Their secret weapon isn't in the ground. It's in their advanced industrial capacity. South Korea has become a global hub for metal refining and processing. They import raw silver ore and doré, which is a semi-pure alloy of gold and silver from all over the world. Then, using their state-of-the-art facilities, they refine it into the high-purity silver that modern industries demand. They've become masters of the silver midstream, the crucial link between the miners and the end users. So, as China's exports have dwindled, South Korea's have surged. This has turned South Korea into a secret lifeline for the American silver supply. It's a brilliant strategic move on their part. They identified a gap in the market created by China's internal focus and positioned themselves perfectly to fill it. They've become the indispensable middleman in the new global silver trade. For the US, this partnership is a lifeline. It provides a reliable, high-quality source of silver, helping to stabilize a supply chain that was on the verge of a major crisis. But why is this so critical for the United States? It's all about strategic industries. The U.S. has ambitious goals for green energy and technological independence. The Inflation Reduction Act, for example, is pouring billions into building out domestic solar and EV manufacturing. All of that requires a massive amount of silver. Without a secure supply, those plans could grind to a halt. Think about the geopolitical implications. Relying on a strategic competitor like China for a resource as critical as silver was always a risky proposition. The shift towards South Korea, a strong democratic ally, de-risks the supply chain significantly. It's not just about economics, it's about national security. It ensures that the technological and green transitions in the U.S. aren't held hostage by the decisions of another nation. This new dynamic has profound implications for the silver market and for investors. First, let's consider the price. The fundamental equation of supply and demand is at play here. Global industrial demand for silver is projected to hit record highs, driven by the green energy revolution. At the same time, one of the world's biggest suppliers, China, is pulling back from the export market. This creates a classic supply squeeze. When demand is rising and supply is tightening, prices tend to go up. South Korea's role is helping to ease some of that pressure for now, but they are a processor, not a primary producer. They can't magically create more silver. They can only refine what's already been mined. The underlying tightness in the market is still very real. Many analysts believe we're on the cusp of a major repricing of silver as the market wakes up to this new reality. The days of cheap, abundant silver may be coming to an end. For investors, this is a signal that can't be ignored. Silver has often been called gold's little brother, but it has a unique dual identity. It's both a monetary metal, a store of value like gold, and an essential industrial metal with demand that's set to explode. This supply chain shift underscores its industrial importance. It's no longer just a hedge against inflation. It's a critical component of the future. The fact that nations are making strategic moves to secure their silver supply tells you everything you need to know about its importance. This isn't just speculation, it's geopolitics in action. So what does the future hold? This new use South Korea's silver axis is likely to strengthen. We'll probably see more investment in refining capacity and stronger trade agreements to solidify this new supply chain. It's a win-win situation. The US gets a secure supply of a critical metal from a trusted ally, and South Korea solidifies its position as a powerhouse in the global metals industry. However, the larger issue of a global silver deficit remains. The amount of silver being consumed by industries each year is now consistently outpacing the amount being mined. For years, this deficit was filled by above-ground stockpiles and exports from countries like China. But with those sources drying up, the deficit is becoming more and more acute. This is the quiet story that could break the market. While everyone is focused on interest rates and stock market fluctuations, the physical foundations of our industrial world are shifting. The pivot from China to South Korea is the first major symptom of a much larger trend. The scramble for physical commodities is on. Silver is at the forefront of this battle because it is absolutely indispensable for the green energy transition. You simply cannot build a solar-powered future without it. Let's recap what we've learned. China, the longtime silver exporter, is now holding onto its supply to feed its own massive industrial growth. This has created a huge hole in the global market. Stepping into this void is South Korea, which has become a master refiner and the new key silver supplier to the United States. This shift is fundamentally changing the silver supply chain, reducing geopolitical risk for the US and highlighting the incredible industrial demand for the metal. All of this points towards a much tighter market and potentially much higher prices in the future, as the world wakes up to the fact that we might not have enough silver to go around. This isn't just a financial story, it's a story about technology, geopolitics, and the building blocks of our modern world. The next time you see a solar panel or use your smartphone, remember the incredible global journey that little bit of silver took to get to you, a journey that is now being redrawn before our very eyes. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this breakdown insightful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the forces shaping our world. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think this supply shift means for the future of silver? Let's discuss. See you in the next video.